What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have a full review on this boot right here, the New Balance Tekela V4 Plus Low. Now this boot has been amazing. I really like this boot a lot. It's very comfortable, the upper is excellent, and it's a very solid option if you guys want something that isn't like Nike, Adidas, and Puma. So we'll just get right to it. So we'll just talk about the upper, and the upper is a hypo knit upper. And this upper is already really soft straight out of the box. If you guys seen my unboxing video, it's super soft, and it just gets even softer as you wear them. Like this is just crazy how soft this upper is. It's probably like the softest upper out in the market right now, in my opinion. I do have almost all the current models, and this out of all of them is just super soft in my opinion. Obviously not softer than a leather boot. I'm just talking about like knitted and like synthetic materials, and this is just extremely soft. It feels like a sock on feet with like a sole plate underneath. That's how soft this boot is. And so you guys can see here, it does have this little bit of texture on the upper here on both sides of the midfoot. And this texture doesn't really, it's not really noticeable in my opinion. I just feel like it doesn't make it feel super slick on the ball. But for the most part, this isn't going to add like an extra amount of grip. It's not like a grip element like you would find, like for example on the Nike Phantom GX or the Adidas Predator. It just adds just a little bit, and honestly you probably won't even notice it, to be honest. And so with the upper, it kind of ties in with the performance. Because this upper is so soft, it does lack a little bit in performance, not a lot. Like there is just a little bit more rollover in this boot. It's just a little bit more noticeable when you're cutting that this boot does, like move a little like inside, just because the upper is so soft. But if you tie your laces very tightly, there is still a good amount of lockdown. It's not like the sloppiest like boot ever. That's not what I'm saying at all. There's just a little bit more movement, and that kind of is expected just because obviously this upper is a little bit softer. Touch on the ball, it feels great. It feels like a sock on feet. It does have this internal like mesh lining that just adds a little bit of padding, but I would still say it's on the thinner side. It does have like a thinner sock like feel to it, but just because of that internal like padded liner, like it's very light. Like it's not overly like thick, but it still feels pretty good on feet. Moving on with the heel, this is where I kind of had mixed opinions on it, and like it took me a while, I guess, to break in just the heel maybe. And for me, the heel and like my playtest video, I didn't really have any issues. I did have a little bit of rubbing towards the end of my video, if you guys didn't like watch it, on my left boot, like just because that's my planning foot and when I'm striking the ball. And so I guess because of that, it was just moving and it was just rubbing a little. And after that, I did wear them again when shooting with my friend, and I actually did get a blister pretty quickly. It wasn't a bad blister, but it did open my skin, so I quickly switched them so I wouldn't really have an issue with them, which kind of sucks. So I did get a blister with them just on my left, not on my right. And so I'm not exactly sure why. You guys can see the heel kind of like moves inward, and so I guess I just get a little bit of a pressure point here where the internal like cup starts, and so that's what was rubbing on my heel. And that was mainly just because I feel like I just didn't have a good amount of lockdown on the heel. Like I felt like my heel was just moving up and down ever so slightly. So what I did was kind of just change the laces, like the lacing setup here at the end, and also grip socks did help with like having less movement in the heel, so that was really helpful. So what I did with the lacing system was tie like going from the last hole and then going from here. That way I had just a little bit more tension when like tying my laces, and so that kind of just helped with like my heel lockdown. So my heel wasn't moving after this, after I kind of changed the lacing at the top. And so because I had a lot more lockdown here, my heel was not moving at all, so that issue went away, and I haven't had that issue since. And I haven't tried them without grip socks. I always wear grip socks with the boots. I just honestly don't want to get another blister, so I haven't tried them without grip socks. But I imagine this like problem here with tying the laces on the top did solve that problem. I feel like not everyone's going to have that same problem in the heel. I have heard people that they find the heel very comfortable and they had no issues with it. And I also heard that people do get blisters as well. So I guess just it depends on the shape of your heel. And if you do get blisters with this boot, try doing this like lacing setup, just because I think it is a little bit of movement in the heel. Like there's a good amount of padding, you guys can see, but there is still slight movement in the heel. So here we have the sole plate, and I really like the way this sole plate feels underfoot. It's nice and stable here in the midfoot, and here in the forefoot it's kind of flexible, which I really like. There's still decent amount of responsiveness, but it leans towards the flexible side of things. And the stud pattern is great. You have these conical studs here all throughout with these little bit of like small bladed studs, which for me honestly didn't bother me. And while wearing these on AG, like I wore these on my AG turf and I felt fine. I never got stuck or anything, so for me they were fine. So you could get away with using them on AG. I feel like if your AG is on the shallow side, like very like shallow, then don't use these. But yeah, the sole plate itself is pretty good. Nothing crazy going on here, nothing spectacular, but it gets the job done. In terms of the fit, they fit really great. I do have the wide foot variation here since I do have a bit of a wider foot, and they fit pretty good. Like I had no issues, no weird spots. Everything fit pretty well. And even though this is a wide foot variation, like the fit is very good. Like it's not sloppy at all. So if you do have a wider foot, this is an excellent option in my opinion. And I'm pretty sure the standard fitting boot is also pretty wide. Honestly, they didn't check those out. I just got the wide variation, but I'm pretty sure like the standard variation is pretty wide as well. And in terms of sizing, I went up half a size, so I would just recommend going up half a size just because they do run a little bit small. If I went with true to size, it would fit too like snug and too tight in the toe box, and I would probably feel too uncomfortable. So going half a size is the right move in my opinion. Alright, so I'm just going to show some free kicks so you guys can see these boots in action. Alright guys, so I think the New Balance Tekela is an excellent boot. It's probably the most comfortable boot I've worn. Like after that situation with the heel, like after the blisters, like then this boot kind of became the most comfortable boot. So it was a little bit annoying having to go through that blister, but afterwards, like I said, I haven't had that situation ever since. So for me, this is a really comfortable boot. The upper is just super soft. This is like the softest upper out on the market in my opinion. The fit is pretty good. Performance wise, I don't think it's the best. I think there are better options if you are looking for performance. But if you just want something that's just comfortable, super soft, and like no nonsense, this is a really excellent choice in my opinion. And a lot more people should take a look at New Balance just because I feel like their lineup is very strong with this boot. The Laces model I believe is also pretty good, and if you're on like their Speed model is also pretty good as well. Yeah, that's it for today's video. If you guys have any questions on this boot in terms of performance or any like details you just want to know that I didn't mention, let me know down in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. Also, make sure to like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.